Great day. We're going to learn a lot. We're going to know a lot. Just a reminder for those who Twitter, I'm expecting pretty much everybody in this room Twitters. Our hashtag today is IA.
Welcome and good morning. So my job here today is to help open up the conference and talk about the theme of today's session at Interactive Boston 2009, how social media can enhance enterprise profitability. It sounds like it might be a boring topic, but it is not, especially not in today's economic climate. And all these new terms we hear swirling around, the new web today, social media, Web 2.0, Enterprise 2.0, are all tightly related, but they mean different things. I'm going to try and kind of tease those out for you and give you a panoramic perspective on what's happening on the network today, how we are relating to the marketplace, to our customers, to our employees, and to our partners. New modes of collaboration, communication that have entirely different economic models. I often call it economics 2.0. We have a lot of material for you today to kind of give you a state of the union and talk about what people are actually doing out there, what kind of business results they're getting. And one of the things I like to stress about the material I'm presenting today is that these are not nice to have that we can add on to our business. A lot of them are becoming business imperatives. They go right to the heart of how we run things, how we make money, how we service our customers and make them satisfied. So this is much more than just marketing or just sales. It's also everything from customer service to the means of production itself. We'll talk about all of those as we go through the morning. We're going to have a brief time for some discussion at the end of this, and I'll be available throughout the day if you want to talk more about these things. I write a lot about this. I analyze this space extensively for ZDNet. I co-founded Social Computing Journal, which you can find online, that talks about all the things I'm going through today. So I kind of have a bird's eye view of everything. A front row seat. I'm going to try and share all of that with you today. And then I actually help organizations do this around the world with Hinchcliffe and Company, some of the world's top brands. And I founded something called Web 2.0 University because we discovered that one of the biggest challenges we have is that the network is moving so quickly now that it's leaving many, if not most, businesses behind. The terminology, the concepts, the technology, all of it that you have to understand and learn how to apply to your business is a little too much. And for many organizations that don't stop and take the time to learn it, one of the reasons you all are here today is to understand what this is all about. So I'll try and bring that to you today. My Twitter ID is Dion Hinchcliffe. Is another good way. I constantly take everything I'm seeing out there and put that out over my Twitter channel. I'll have conversations there too. We're going to go actually today up till right around 10 a.m. The Twitter tag for today is IA09. So just add that to the end of your tweet. And everyone else who's looking for people talking about it can find it. If you're not familiar with the hashtag, it's just a way of tagging your tweet so other people can find it. Exploration of new ways of doing old things. We have technologies that emerge all the time that replace the ways we were doing things before. We have old business models that get replaced by new business models. And so we're going to talk about the economic, social, and cultural changes that all this is causing, the social media 2.0, with a very pragmatic stance. I'm very much about saying, all right, how do we take this and really affect change in our businesses in a good way? How do we be better, faster, cheaper? Those are the important topics here. We're going to explore how social media and 2.0 promote resilient and sustainable business models in the 21st century. And we're going to look for evidence that they work. We've been doing this Web 2.0 stuff, the social media stuff, since 2004, since RSS came out. We didn't have the blogosphere or didn't have a lot of the good outcomes we were looking for until the beginning of 2004. We've been doing this now. That means for like 5 years. What do we know? Somebody has to have some great stories to tell, and they do, and we'll try and share some of those. And if they're not promising, we'll try and share that with you as well. So this is our current map of opportunity. I created this for a Web 2.0 Summit late last year. It's a leading place where business leaders come together to understand, all right, we have this pervasive global network that everyone now can actively participate in. What does that mean? What are the opportunities? And I really bucket them into 4 major categories. And the organizations you work for right now are facing at least one of these axes, if not all of them. So we have challenges in growing right now. A lot of companies aren't doing that. Yet there are certain organizations that are doing very well. I only paid attention to Amazon and their numbers that you know that they've been doing extraordinarily well. They were one of the Web 2.0 companies doing much of this, including social media from the very beginning. You know, things like customer reviews and so on. And they have taken and run with it and become one of the most successful companies online today. And they're growing in the downturn. And there's many other examples of organizations like them. But we have these concepts of peer production, something called Jacob's Law, which I'll tell you about later today. Most people never even heard of it. It's one of the most important courses out there, one of the big lessons learned. Network effects, I'll help you understand what those are if you're not familiar with them. Fundamentally new customer relationships, customer communities, customer self-service marketing 2.0. These are all ways that you can help your company grow. You can actually help the bottom line. And we also have cost reduction. We're actively faced with doing more, or doing at least the same with less, right? Less people, less resources, less budget. How can we drive costs down? What are cheaper new economic ways of doing things? And they're out there. And now we're really faced with the specter of having to do them. So we don't have a choice. We can't not do something to address these. And this includes improving productivity and access to value. We're going to talk about some of the things I have in this chart today, not all of them, because they're not all a social media story. We also have to remake what we're doing. Companies that were doing business the way they did it in the 20th century, they can't do that anymore. We've kind of seen the fundamental limit to the traditional business models, and we've seen the world changing. And our companies, our organizations have to change too. So we have change management and business remodeling and restructuring that we have to do. And yes, social media helps with all of these things. And finally, innovation. A lot of companies out there that are even shrinking, they were already at the limits of their abilities to grow. They already acquired everyone they could acquire. They had already grown, done all the organic growth they possibly could. You know, there's many companies even in Austin, you know, Dell and AT&T are great examples of companies that are at the maximum growth. They have to come up with entirely new products and new services in order to make themselves healthy companies. That's where the innovation piece comes in. So what are we seeing out there? What are the fundamental shifts that this is causing? One is in who creates the value. And this is what we've learned. Our companies are fast. Piece comes in. So what are we seeing out there? What are the fundamental shifts that this is causing? One is in who creates the value. And this is what we've learned. Our companies are vastly outnumbered by our customers. They are the most important resource that we have, period. And they're on the network. And it turns out that if we will only let them, they will create the value for us. And what this leads to is how much control we have over our own businesses. You know, companies are using social media to do things like crowdsourcing. We're going to talk about some very successful products that have been created in tight partnership with customers via social media style tools to create very successful marketing products. And this change is how intellectual property works. It gives us greatly increased transparency, which is what we've learned is a really good thing. When we hide too much information, the markets get in trouble. Social media is a very public way of communicating and collaborating and working together. And it may allow us to avoid the kinds of challenges we've seen in the marketplace recently. And this leads to things like open supply chains, community-based processes and relationships. This has already remade more industries than just one. The software business alone has been completely remade by community-based processes. This is open source software. And this has gone on to move into the media space now, where you have things like YouTube, where they get 60 to 100,000 videos a day that they pay nothing to produce. It creates one of the market-leading media properties. In fact, they have more viewers on a given day than all of major media combined. All of network and cable TV combined, YouTube gets more viewers on a single day, and they pay nothing for that content. These are major shifts. These are community-based processes for creating products. And I'll show you evidence that this is moving across all industries. So I'm going to attempt to broaden your horizons here about what is possible, about how you have to be thinking about your products and how you relate to your customers. Because you may have come in here thinking we're going to talk about blogs, wikis, Facebook, and Twitter, and we are. But that's just scratching the surface. So one of the things we've seen in the last 5 years in particular is this concept I call the cargo cult. You know, so where somebody sees somebody doing something very, very successful with a piece of technology or a new idea, and they say, well, we have to be doing that. But they don't really understand the moving parts inside that or what it takes, and they will go and try and recreate what seems to be successful out there, and they won't do well. We've seen a number of that in the first few years that people were trying to apply social media. They heard a few success stories.